democracy is dead. This is the fucking result of democracy.
Yeah, this is
Just
you don't.
saying.
Yeah, it.
I ought to drop the
They.
microphone right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. No, you're exactly right. This is democracy.
This is here's your baby. It's
Like
yours.
for all its good. This I forget who said it, but I think it was Churchill. Democracy is the worst form of government except for every other. They're all bad. Democracy has a lot of flaws. This is one of them.
Mob rule.
But but to say this, to say democracy will be dead, no, no, this is democracy.
Yeah, this is it at its finest. In its Sunday's best.
So
All right, so I know time is short, Mr. Wade, and it's been so long since we've recorded. It's going to be hard to get back into the character of Daniel Lewis Crumpton. But Happy New Year, man! How's your 2021 going?
Happy New Year. 2021's not doing too poorly yet. We're only 7 days in, but so far a little bit better than 2020.
Yeah, so I don't, I don't know what we're going to use this for, Superist show or just a quick trip or whatever. But I'm just so giddy as a little schoolgirl I went into a little cocoon for New Year's and a few days afterwards, and then I emerge and I find out that the world has gone completely bonkers.
Oh,
Do you want to fill me in, Mr. Wade?
oh,
What's going
dude,
on in
dude,
2021?
dude. The world has lost its fucking mind. Um, so we all kind of knew shit was gonna be weird yesterday. Um, the election happened. Uh, Trump is a narcissist and kind of hates losing like most people do. So we knew there was going to be some shit, but protesters broke into the Capitol building, which it needs to be pointed out that this is the first time that's happened since, I believe, the War of 1812.
uh,
Uh, they broke into the Capitol for the specific purpose of they thought they could overturn the election, which there's obviously nobody with any legal knowledge among them because what they invaded yesterday was a formality. It was over. It's already been certified. They were just, the Senate was just saying, yes, we certify that this has been certified. And these guys come in like, no, but actually,
no, wait, because I've completely been in a cocoon. So who are these guys? Who are these guys?
who are these guys? The
Who
protesters?
are these guys? These guys is at the Capitol.
The protesters are Trump supporters. Uh, they were led by Alex Jones and Rudy Giuliani.
Are you serious?
Yes, Alex Jones and Rudy Giuliani led the protest by saying, "We demand a trial by combat."
Oh, what? Oh man, this is the greatest season cliffhanger ever. Let
um,
me. So you're now Rudy Giuliani and Alex Jones hand in hand,
no,
or
well, okay. This was a conglomeration of a lot of different groups. Jones was there leading his own little crew. Rudy Giuliani was there leading his own little crew. You had a crew of neo Nazis. That's real. That there was a crew of people wearing shirts that said Auschwitz, and then on the back, staff member.
oh my God!
You had
And
literal
I,
neo
I
Nazis.
and I thought I was offensive sometimes.
Yes, you
Oh
had
my God,
literal neo Nazis. Um, and
oh,
then you had Trump with his own little group, or Trump was sort of the head groupie. Um, he started the whole thing off giving a speech saying Mike Pence has betrayed us. We must march on the Capitol and demand the truth.
What? What did Pence do, dude? Fill
Uh,
me in.
so the vice president has to certify the election results.
Sure.
They preside over the Senate and they approve the election. They approve what the governors have sent to them.
Right. Has every other state done that too?
Yes, every state has certified their results and sent them.
And how's that working out for Trump?
Not well.
Oh,
Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, has been lambasted by Trump as a fake Republican.
oh,
As has your Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger,
oh, shucks, man.
as has Governor Doug Ducey of Arizona,
Huh.
also a Republican,
Right?
um, because they sent their results and said, yeah, Joe Biden won the state.
Okay.
What do you want us to do?
So Pence. What's
So
what's what's up? What's up with the Judas goat?
Pence simply announced his intentions to approve the election results that were sent to him.
Oh, and then like, okay, Jesus. Why in my imagination do I see like a WWF wrestling cage with like
And here
smoke
comes Pence
stripes?
with the chair.
Yeah, I know. The way that this is being described to me is somebody just walking into 2021 from outside of this time and space. Uh, oh my God, this is really happening. Okay, so a bunch of
So,
people show up. What was the point of the people show up? What was their goal?
so
Oh,
their goal, okay, they were under two
I think
misguided
now
assumptions.
me and you should just go ahead and coin. Has Trumpite been coined yet?
Trumpite, there have been multiple phrases. Trumpite, I believe, has not been officially coined. I use Trumper because I don't know, Trumper sounds fun. Trumpite works though.
Okay. Well, just
Trumper sounds like an active verb.
yeah. Well, you got a degree now, so who am I to argue? All right.
I
So
do
we'll.
have a degree now, but Trumpite works as well.
All right. So
But look, regardless,
okay. So
eh,
the Trumpites are like, we don't like the election results. It was rigged. I mean, that's the thing? That's the story? It was
that
rigged.
that's yes, their story is Fidel Castro,
Huh?
who's been dead for 20 years,
Yeah.
had these voting machines, and the voting machines are rigged
Sure.
against Trump. And the Republican governor of Georgia, the Republican governor of Arizona, and every other elected Republican who's approved these results
Yeah.
are fake Republicans who are secret Democrats working against Trump.
Oh my God, my third eye just started crying. Like literally, I felt a teardrop coming from my forehead on that. Get the fuck out of here.
You can ask them yourself.
No, no,
Yes,
Dylan, no.
Daniel.
Okay. I think this is you're getting me back for all the times I fuck with you on your show and stuff, and you're just making all this crap up. All
Would
right, so
would you like me to find the articles from the alternative media
uh, what? Okay,
claiming these things?
are you serious?
I have seen these claims by even some elected officials.
All right, give me your best shot. Give me what the alternative media's best shot is. I got to hear this.
So one of the things that actually prompted me to message you, like, I need to say something, was in Virginia, there's a gubernatorial candidate, very prominent one, Amanda Chase,
I love
who
that word.
gubernatorial. It's a good word.
Don't you? It is.
It's such a fun word.
Yeah, and when you success, it's like doing a somersault if you successfully say it, without
I
messing
know.
it up.
I know.
It's like,
You feel like
yeah,
I did something. I
I pulled it
accomplished
off.
something.
After
Um,
you said it so eloquently, I was like, man, I wonder if I can say it that eloquently. Now I don't.
yeah,
Now I feel like I put myself on the spot, so I don't even want to touch on it. Continue,
Daniel,
Dylan.
if you get a degree, you too can say gubernatorial.
Yeah.
um, Gubernatorial nominee Amanda Chase said that Trump needed to declare martial law in order to
I knew this
make
was
sure that
coming.
the election results were administered
And I got
properly.
And I say this in all seriousness. Saying martial law is kind of like saying the word divorce in a marriage. It might not happen right away, but that bullet's in the chamber, baby.
Yeah, I mean, look, I find it painfully ironic that the alternative media who rightly decried Obama for executive overreach have not only looked away from Trump's, but actively cheered on Trump's. And I mean,
I was talking to, I actually did have a conversation shortly before all this with one other person before I came out of my hermitude to celebrate the new year and the holidays and everything. And they said, it's like the entire country is under this deep hypnosis right now. And, and I go, I know, I know. And there's very few of us who are actually looking at this and going, oh my God, how,
like, the, my opinion was never high of the alternative media, or
wish.
not lately been high, as evidenced by the fact that we started this whole thing with our mocking and critique of the alternative media. But my low opinion went lower with it because I didn't see any of them actively saying that Trump should declare martial law, but I haven't seen any of them say Trump shouldn't declare martial law.
All right.
And I feel very confident that if Trump did, they would cheerlead it.
Now, the martial law thing, is this coming up before or after the Trumpites go to the Capitol and
Before.
apparently
This is about a week before.
get okay? Well, that's weird. All right,
This
that's not
about a week.
foreshadowing at all.
Yeah, about a week beforehand.
Yeah, that's no foreshadowing at all.
Um,
Just saying.
so the protesters were spurred on by a couple of things. One, Trump saying march on the Capitol and demand the
And
truth.
he did do that.
Yes, he
This is
said
a
that.
fact.
Yes, this is a verifiable fact.
Okie dokie.
I
Just making sure.
listened to the words come out of his mouth.
Okie dokie.
Um, and the other thing this was spurred on by is a couple of senators, Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, sort of leading this push in the Senate saying this was a fake election, we have to object to the results, or democracy is dead. Um, and I mean, you can draw a clear
This is
line
what
of causality.
democracy is dead. This is the fucking result of democracy.
Yeah, this is
Just
you don't.
saying.
Yeah, it.
I ought to drop the
They.
microphone right there.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're exactly right. This is democracy. It
this is here's your baby. It's
like
yours.
for all its good. This is. I forget who said it, but I think it was Churchill. Democracy is the worst form of government except for every other. They're all bad. Democracy has a lot of flaws. This is one of them.
Mob rule.
But but to say this, to say democracy will be dead, no, no, this is democracy.
Yeah, this is it at its finest, in its Sunday best.
So here's
Okay,
what here's what's really freaky. So after they get into the Capitol, they get into the Capitol
they
building.
do. Okay, all right.
They do. They got in.
Now,
Ver-
now, now,
verifiable fact.
verifiable fact. Whoa, 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 whoa. Because I have surfed the social media news feeds, and there is an alternative to it being they, like the Trumpites, like it was an infiltration. This is starting to sound like a James Bond movie. It was an
Oh, of
infiltration,
Antifa.
and yeah, and BLM, and
Um,
so what are your
facial
thoughts there?
rec facial recognition caught prominent white nationalist Nick Fuentes and another one named Baked Alaska. Yes, that's his real name, in the Capitol doing this shit. So these are verifiable Q alt-right people.
Okay, what the hell is Q alt right?
Okay, sorry, too much lingo. QAnon is
Yeah,
this
I feel like I'm.
conspiracy.
Should I go get dressed up for a game of Dungeons and Dragons? Because this
Yeah,
is what it sounds like.
yes, you should. So
Okay.
QAnon is this
You've
is
entered the
theory.
realm of QAnon.
It,
Here is
it's
your guide, Dylan Wade, into
it,
what the murky waters of QAnon.
Be prepared because this is the dumbest shit we've talked about so far.
Oh, Jesus.
So, are you familiar with
Hang
4chan?
on, let me ground out first. because I know you're about to hit me with some stupid shit I never wanted to hear, but
You asked.
you're right. I'm a glutton for punishment. All right, Rod, swing away or pitch
Are
away or whatever.
are you familiar with 4chan?
Not really.
Are you familiar with Reddit?
It's a social media thingy.
Okay, so 4chan is this dumb message board type of thing that houses a lot of weird fringe groups of all stripes, left, right,
Oh,
apolitical, what the fuck. Um,
microcosm of the internet.
a
Basically.
a microcosm of the worst things on the internet.
Okay.
So this random poster named Q showed up claiming to be a government employee.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard a little bit about this. Go ahead.
He claimed to have inside information that there was a secret rebellion in the government led by Trump against the pedophiles. Um, this conspiracy theory ranges from the former special prosecutor Robert Mueller was part of it, which they very quickly realized wasn't true, to my favorite, JFK Jr. is going to come back from the dead, become Trump's vice president, and help fight the pedophiles.
Oh,
That was my favorite part.
okay.
The day he was supposed to come back came and went. He still hasn't come back.
Oh,
So,
it's like okay. That's like Jesus, but
like,
okay.
yeah, like Jesus, except it didn't happen. So,
All right. Go ahead.
um, basically, it's very likely that Q is just some 14-year-old asshole in their basement, just fucking with everyone. Um, which I think it's endlessly amusing that a solid, uh, even if I lowball it, 50,000 people, I'm definitely lowballing it.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's funny that a solid 50,000 people were motivated to come to arms by what's almost certainly the trolling of a 14-year-old. Um, Look, we're all susceptible to manipulation on the internet, but guys, don't make it so easy. Um,
Okay.
so we can verify based on facial recognition that
Uh,
a lot of the people inside the Capitol were prominent far right um, QAnon-esque people.
So your thoughts on the conspiracy that the ones that actually got inside were not, that they were agent provocateurs. What are your thoughts on that? Bullshit, or is there some credence to it?
I always operate on Occam's razor. What's more likely? That somebody who's been using incendiary rhetoric on his supporters actually got them fired up enough at a protest to charge in? Or that they sent in agent provocateurs to do what? To provoke them to do what for what purpose? The the problem is the motive to do so is kind of nebulous because no real action is being taken at a systemic level. The government's not gaining any more power off of this yet. So I don't know. I don't see the motive. It's almost like when people say, "Do you think this event, this shooting, or this thing was a false flag?" My answer is always, "Why? We've created an environment where these things will happen."
Mm, good point.
That's sort of my thought.
But I mean, if there was undeniable evidence that they were agent provocateurs from the quote far left football team.
I mean that would be interesting, and I would look at it. If it's undeniable, of course I believe it.
Right.
But I mean, you would have to. The burden of proof for such a claim is incredibly high, and they've provided no evidence.
Okay. And you really can't. I mean, and I know a lot of people, they get their information directly from Facebook and Facebook memes, because unfortunately that's the attention span that we've been reduced to. Thank
Oh,
you for
yeah,
warning us, George Orwell.
yeah. Political literacy and frankly literacy in general in this
Yeah.
country is abysmal.
Like now, yeah, now it used to be, if you were well read, you were educated in a matter. That if you were, if you listened to a lot of things, with a good attention span. But now it's like people who scroll through and read and get their updates through memes. I mean, memes are cute and they're funny, but come on, guys. For those of you out there who are really, really passionate about whichever football team you're rooting for in this
Can,
show,
can I just say something? Even as
sure.
somebody who's, I have a football team-ish. If you find this, if you find the election on either side passionate enough to go out and protest about, really you need to get your priorities in order because the presidency is not everything. The presidency is almost nothing. They are a figurehead.
Well,
What? Don't get yourself so worked up over it. It's not worth it.
I mean, that's why I've been keeping my. I knew this. This. Who was it that said? Oh, I think it was me and you that had that exchange, or about what was going on whenever they got into the Capitol building and they had the Secret Service had to clear it out and everything, and it was like, what did I say to you? It was through text, I think.
The postman,
uh,
something about that.
something like that.
I,
Yeah.
I, um,
I was like, I hope that this ends like, what shit? Maybe we should just read it.
I,
That
let's see. Yeah, I'm looking for it. It'd be neat if something similar happened with Trump and Biden. Let's do this shit right. Let them two motherfuckers beat each other down in a WWF
Wait,
brawl in
wait, no,
front
no, 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 let's stop. We're doing it wrong. All right, what we should do is we should actually read our own lines back and forth.
of. Okay,
Okay, so
where should we
let's,
start?
uh, okie dokie. So
Uh,
let's start with the meme that I sent you of the dude with the bullhorn or the bullhorn hat.
yeah,
And
like, can we just approve? That guy was carrying around a sign that said, "I believe in Q." Um, so far left agitators. No, no, no. That sounds like QAnon
uh,
people to me.
I don't know, dude. I don't know, but I'll tell you, we'll get to the guy with the hat with the horns in a minute. So, okay, so I sent you the meme. And the meme basically had the picture of the dude sitting there, I guess where Pence is supposed to sit. And the meme says, everyone, damn, 2020 was a crazy year. Day 6 of 2021. And it's just the picture. They just drop it there. Like, ta-da! Which was epic because, that's the good thing of memes. Is like, yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so then your reply.
LOL. Yup.
Epic time to be alive.
Very interesting time.
I smell a storm of memes coming, my friend. A perfect storm.
This is like the Area 51 shit, except it happened.
LOL. I mean, there is a bare chested guy with a bull hat of some sort on waving a flag in the fucking capital of the goddamn country. I want to speak to the writers.
I know, right?
I wish this shit ended like The Postman.
Postman?
Movie with Kevin Costner post America. At the end, his army meets the bad guy's army on the field, and Kevin Costner says, wouldn't it be neat if wars were only fought by the assholes who start them? Then he just, oh, shit, I lost it. Then just,
Then
oh, no.
he and the bad guy.
Oh yeah, then just he and the bad guy beat the shit out of each other and let the armies watch. It'd be neat if something similar happened with Trump and Biden. Let's just do this shit right. Let them two motherfuckers beat each other down in a WWF brawl in front of the Washington Monument, sponsored by Bang Energy Drinks.
That sounds fun.
Well, why the hell not? We got the government giving us all they got on aliens in 180 days, so period, period, period. What the fuck?
Oh?
I think that's good. And scene.
I, I think my performance deserves an Oscar.
I believe that both of us are up for some sort of nomination, my friend.
Best on-screen couple.
Yes. Okay. All right. So where were we? Oh, guy with the hat. I've been reading my Bible again a lot lately, getting all biblical. Maybe Christmas had something to do with it. I don't know. I almost like, because I always thought it was funny, the whole, in the book of the Revelation, it talks about at the end days, you'll hear the trumpets, and then we get who running for president, Donald Trump, and Mike Pence, who was like, ha, 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 ha,
Yeah.
you know.
So, sorry, there is one interesting thing to point out that I was going to get to, but I got sidetracked because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Um, they tried to call the National Guard in to quell the protests,
Yeah.
and all the reporting says Trump vetoed them. Said, no, we're not calling the National Guard. And then his staff just stopped listening to him, and Pence called the National Guard.
What the heck? What? Whoa. Now that's a plot twist.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's. I can't find the tweet anymore because it got deleted
Oh. Uh-huh.
from Trump. But while the protests were going on, Trump said, we have to demand the truth. And then after the protests said, this is what you get when you have an illegitimate election. People will remember this day forever. So, like,
Okay.
may I just say the Liberty people who defend this are hilarious.
Ain't no, dude.
They're
Ain't no
defending
liberty.
somebody doing fascism.
The liberty people are chuckling right now, and
Uh,
we're
you
basically.
Liberty people are chuckling. The people still claiming the broader Liberty movement are like are waving their flags like, yeah, fascism. Wait, what?
Hey, well, what did the great philosopher Arthur Fleck say, Dylan?
Uh, you're putting me on the spot here. What quote am I supposed to remember?
What did the great philosopher Arthur Fleck say? He said, "You get what you fucking deserve."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
This is what this country deserves. Unfortunately, I hate to say it.
yeah, I like to think that I am principled enough to call out this shit if my own side did it. But I know that a lot of the people that I used to respect in the alternative media space are not that principled.
All right. Well, all right. So does it get worse? Bunch of Trumpites come to the Capitol. They storm the building. Couple of guys dressed up like Trump
Uh,
superheroes.
five people dead.
What?
One
Five
sh-
people dead?
Five people dead. One cop apparently, one of the Capitol Police. Um, one protester shot in the neck in the Capitol building. The protester had a loaded gun in the Capitol building. They got shot.
Mm,
Um, and four other protesters died of medical complications, apparently.
medical complications.
I mean,
That's vague.
that is vague. Heart
That could be.
attack,
Mm,
shock.
yeah.
Guys, we made it in. What do we do?
Okay. So now, obviously,
Um, Also, cops let them through. There's videos of cops opening the barricades at times, just kind of letting them on. One cop was caught taking selfies with the protesters. Uh,
what are your thoughts on that? Explain that.
Explain that.
I mean, look, come on. That seems a little unfeasible.
No, I don't think it's unfeasible at all. There are a lot of cops who are really just kind of like these people. Cops are trained. They specifically hire cops to be more aggressive, more low intelligence.
Okay.
They do. This is verifiable. You know it. I'm pretty sure you've talked about it.
I mean,
It
yeah,
co-
but
I'm not. Cops have political ideologies just like any other. I'm not surprised that a couple cops were favor felt favorably
so
about
you're
this.
saying it's just a few bad apples.
No,
It,
it's a systemic problem. The cops
okay.
that it's the cops training and it's how they're hired.
All
But
right. Well, how is this being interpreted by Trump supporters? Because I've seen that too, the pictures of the cops doing that.
yeah, this is I don't know how it's being interpreted by Trump supporters. Every Trump supporter I've tried to talk to about this has blocked me. So I'm not sure how they're interpreting it.
Okay. All right.
I
So,
have
I
been
mean,
forced into an echo chamber.
I'm just a layman, but I'd find it, look, man, I know what's up with 9/11 and all that. So I tend to look at things, not through an Alex Jones lens, but I do tend to go, wait a second, and not look at it black or white. I try my best, but it seems highly unlikely to me that, I don't know, with the
So,
Capitol building being the most one of the most secure buildings, I see the argument that something doesn't seem right. Like that,
well,
and those
so
military guys that are supposed to protect places like that, they will not hesitate.
can I Occam's razor it for you? Because I tend to think the simplest answer is always the right one. What what's the most likely that they just because they're stupid, capital security, the people running the show, the politicians who manage this are dumb and weren't prepared, or they were all engaged in
No
a
way.
conspiracy to let people into the building so that they could drum up fear.
Well, I mean, look, uh, there's only one way those people got inside that building, and it's because they were let in, and I mean
Yes.
through multiple levels.
Oh yeah, they were let into the building.
Because because
Absolutely,
our
they were let in.
because our government has a contingency plan for every possible scenario, and that was one. Don't give me this. They got in. Hell no. That was for theater. That is for
They
sheer theater. And I mean, I'm just trying to step back and look at it from an objective point of view. Who is this play for? you know, what's going on? Because none of this, I know in my gut that none of this feels right, and I know everybody who has any type of self awareness knows that what's going on is not right. Some fishy shit going on, and I'm not trying to be paranoid, but this is a circus.
oh
Like
well, it's certainly a circus.
it's a complete circus.
I mean, it if you okay, so I think there are two different arguments to make here, and I think one of them is crazy, but one of them is completely fair.
Okay, shoot.
The crazy one is everyone at all levels of government was in on it to make this happen
Okay.
for theater. I think that's crazy. But the other one that I don't think is crazy is that at some levels of government, there were people who wanted this to happen for political effect. And I think the obvious answer to that question is the person who incited the riot in the first place by saying we need to march on the Capitol and also runs the government right now.
Oh. Okay. All
I,
right.
I'm just saying that if you want to go the route of somebody in the government let this happen, the obvious answer would be the person who incited the riot and is currently the figurehead of that government. Am I off base?
I wanted to read an article to you, a very brief article with some bullet points, and I want after each bullet point, I want to get your feedback. Okay.
Sure. Hit me.
So I saw this. I thought it was very interesting. It's from the Business Insider. Now, is that a respectable rag?
Um, some of their stuff is very respectable, some of it's off, but sure, I'll take it. It's not Alex Jones.
Okay, that's what I said.
I'll go with it. Can you send me the article you're
Okay, I can send it, but I'm going to read it for you.
That's fine. I just want to be able to look at it myself as well.
No, just believe me. Said every religious leader ever.
Indeed.
Okay. So the headline says some among America's military allies believe Trump deliberately attempted a coup and may have had help from federal law enforcement officials. Okay.
Yes. Okay, I did see this headline at
Okay.
some point. I didn't read the article, but I saw the headline.
So bullet point number one, multiple hello 2021. Multiple I can't believe I'm reading this,
Uh,
but I'm going to read it.
Apologies for the background noise. I have a new cat, and they are very excitable right
Oh,
now.
well, thank you for the heads up. Hello kitties. Welcome to planet Earth. What level of the multiverse? I don't know. Okay, bullet point one. Multiple European security officials told Insider that President Donald Trump appeared to have tacit, is that how you pronounce that?
Yes.
Tacit. Okay, great score. Tacit support among U.S. federal agencies responsible for securing the Capitol complex in Wednesday's coup attempt. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, he had to have some approval in order to veto the National Guard coming in. He would have had to at least have the approval of the acting defense secretary. So, yes, I buy that.
Okay. Bullet point number 2. Insider is reporting this information because it illustrates the serious repercussions of Wednesday's events. Even if they are mistaken, some among America's international military allies are now willing to give credence to the idea that Trump deliberately tried to violently overturn an election and had help from some federal law enforcement agents. Ooh, that's colder than the other side of the
See,
pillow.
okay. This isn't a defense of Trump at all, but I actually think the most likely answer isn't that he deliberately tried to do it. I think he probably got carried away and when it was happening went, "Oh, I like this. This could work for me." I think that's the most likely answer.
Man, this does it. I just had a vision of Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon. I don't know why. Maybe it is this herbal tea I'm drinking.
Ooh.
But yes, don't know if that smacks of Caesar at all. Does it? What am I off?
I don't think so, but
Okay. Okay, next bullet point. Quote, we train alongside the U.S. federal law enforcement to handle these very matters, and it's obvious that large parts of any successful plan were just ignored, end quote, one source told us. I don't know why I did it in that voice. Could have been a lady. So,
well,
sorry, one source.
see, but that quote is the reason why it probably wasn't a massive plan at all levels of government because it was just done too poorly.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it was it was a shit show.
Yeah. All right, the article continues. The supporters of President Donald Trump, who stormed the Capitol on Wednesday to stop the ratification of President elect Joe Biden's election victory, were attempting a violent coup that multiple European security officials said appeared to have at least tacit support from aspects of the U.S. federal agencies responsible for securing the Capitol complex. Insiders spoke with 3 officials on Thursday morning, a French police official responsible for public security in a key section of central Paris, and 2 intelligence officials from NATO countries who directly work in counterterrorism. Yeah, I read articles to myself like this too. And counterintelligence operations involving the U.S., terrorism, and Russia. They said the circumstantial evidence available pointed to what would be openly called a coup attempt in any other nation. None were willing to speak on the record because of the dire nature of the subject. That's from Business Insider.
Yes.
So, what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I think it definitely sounds like a coup. Um, it it looks a bit like a coup in a lot of ways. If you don't mind, I was having a debate with somebody, and I'd like to read a timeline of the events, and I want you to tell me if you think this sounds like a coup.
Okay.
Trump gives number one, Trump gives a speech telling people to march on Capitol and demand the truth. Number two, protesters get into the Capitol building, attempt to reach the Senate, kills security guard. Number three, Mayor of D.C. Bowser tries to call the National Guard. Trump denies request. Pence goes around Trump and calls the National Guard. Final step, Trump tweets that this is what we get for having an illegitimate election. Does that sound like at least tacit approval for a coup?
Um, I use the magic of the internet to type in Merriam-Webster.com. Coup, a noun. Definition of coup. A coup d'etat is definition number 1.
It, coup d'etat, can I just say, very fun phrase.
Also, like gubernatorial. How'd I do?
You did great. A
Thanks,
plus.
man. I was sweating it, but I was wanting to, like, coup d'etat was me stretching for gubernatorial.
Yes.
See how I did that?
If you want to, yes. If you want to say it with a little more flair, coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat. Stretch it out like yeah.
Pa, 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 pa.
All right, serious face. Definition 2. A brilliant, sudden, and usually highly successful stroke or act. Coup, verb. Definition of coup. Overturn, upset. Okay. Huh. So, what? Coup d'etat.
So,
Okay, a coup d'etat. Excuse me. I just wanted to say coup d'etat again. A sudden decisive exercise of force in politics, especially the violent overthrow or alteration of an existing government by a small group, a military coup d'etat of the dictator. Examples of coup d'etat in a sentence. The the great does an excellent job of tempering the gravity of a coup d'etat with the sheer ridiculousness of the Russian court, said by some guy's name who I can't pronounce from your favorite quarantine binge, just coming back for an Even Wilder second season 2, July 2020.
ooh, I'm very excited.
So,
So a sudden use of force by a small group to change, alter,
yeah,
or overthrow an existing government.
yeah,
Now,
but from what I saw, dude, it looked like their goal was to just go into the building and take selfies.
well, that's because the senators evacuated.
Oh, but
The
what were
sen-
they? So they were trying to catch the senators? That was their goal?
the goal, it's not entirely clear, but
Dude,
yes, they were
you know,
they were walking around the
and
building.
I've
We have
actually been fasting from hallucinogenics for quite some time.
we have reports of them walking around yelling, "Where's the senators?"
What were they gonna do with them?
I don't know. Probably tell them to overturn the election, not realizing that they can't.
Oh God,
Again,
it's
not Alex Jones, Rudy Giuliani, and Donald Trump, not strategic thinkers.
it's not what I'm told.
Well,
Passionately, he's 6 steps ahead of everybody all the time.
that's
He's just.
yeah, that's why this failed miserably because he's 6 steps ahead.
I don't think this. I don't think whatever this was failed at all. At all. I don't think it failed at all. I think it did exactly what it was supposed to do. You know. I
Eh,
think.
I'm looking at it and I am seeing the logical conclusion of the current situation, of the rhetoric we've been seeing, and frankly of the lockdown. People have their tensions up. They're very pent up. They're very angry. Trump's got some incendiary rhetoric to give them, and they're all in one place. It was the perfect recipe.
So okay. So then, what did he fled to Texas or something? And I saw some stupid crap
He
about.
didn't flee to Texas.
Oh, okay. Well, what happened? What was that all about? They were
Wait,
like,
who are we talking about? Trump?
Trump.
No, Trump spent the protests in his dining room.
Okay. So,
And there are now reports that I don't know that I fully believe, but wouldn't surprise me, from people saying he didn't like the protests because he thought they looked low class. He thought the aesthetics weren't nice enough, which I both buy and don't buy at the same time. I don't know how that happens, but I do.
all right, all right, all right.
Look, the bottom line is some stupid shit went down in DC. Um,
Is it
it
over now?
No, it's not over, but it's certainly calmed. Um, or calmed a bit. Um,
Wow.
but some stupid shit went down in DC. Um, the president endorsed it, whether it was a coup or not. It certainly looks like one, but it failed. It in its stated goal.
Oh, well, how about this? How about this jazz? I knew something was simmering. What are your thoughts on Iran submitting to whatever the world government?
Yeah,
Uh,
the
the,
International Criminal Court, that Trump should be jailed for the killing of Soleimani.
what are your
It was
thoughts?
it was a war crime. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a war crime.
Yes, it was.
It was a war crime.
And you know
Yeah,
what? Oh, go ahead. You first. You first.
they called him. They got him into the place where they bombed him by saying they wanted to meet with him. They wanted to meet with him to negotiate, and then they bombed him. That's a war crime. Even if they didn't do that, you don't kill a government official from a government you're not in a declared war with. That that is an act of war. That is a war crime, and Iran would be almost certainly justified in a response. Absolutely.
I don't think I can say it any better than what you just did, honestly. I mean, uh, you know, yeah, you don't do that. And not to mention, this is something that I don't know if some people can get their head around. You know, back when Islamophobia was like at its worst, it seems to have died down a little bit, which is a good thing.
Hmm.
But when it was at its worst, and they were, talking about, well, we can take them to Gitmo and all these other camps and we can torture them. I'm not going to say rendition. It's fucking torture.
Yeah, it's torture.
It's torture.
There's no other word for it.
So stop
Enhanced
trying to,
interrogation. Get the
yeah,
fuck out of here
try,
with the
try to,
Orwellian shit.
yeah, stop trying to soften the word. You are torturing a human being.
Yes.
Okay.
A human being who, in many cases, is innocent.
In most cases is innocent and has not been given due process of law, which means
Yes. You
judge,
are, if they are a citizen, you are violating their constitutional rights. If they are not a citizen, you are violating their human rights. And in
well,
most cases, they are innocent. You are violating an innocent person's human rights. You are a criminal. You should be tried.
well, see, I'm more constitutional when it comes to the extension of their constitutional rights, anyway, because when that argument was going around, and I was more hanging around with Baptist circles at the time, so I was already kind of couldn't really express too much of what I really believed about our occupation over there and bombings and Islamophobia and stuff because I had to keep my mouth shut a little bit. Um, but the conversations would come up and I would be like, well, how can you think that it's ethical and moral or Christian for these people to be basically going through cruel and unusual punishments before they've even been judged by a jury of their peers?
Can I
Peers,
answer that question? Because
sure,
I know their answer.
go
Modern
ahead.
modern Christianity doesn't even see those. The modern Christian movement does not see Muslims as even legitimate people. Therefore, whatever they do is justified because they're vanquishing evildoers. It's fully based on us versus them tribalism bullshit.
To a good, yeah, and to a good degree, and then when you kind of level out from those religious circles into like the conservative Republican down here in the Bible Belt, which is not conservative at all. It's
No,
none of it's conservative.
it's neoconservative.
Neoconservatism is exactly what it is,
It,
and they're too stupid to know it.
it's Dick Cheney expansionist
Yeah,
bullshit. Unitary executive theory. None of that is conservative.
none of it's conservative.
It,
So
you
what
want an
they say
actual.
what they say whenever you go, well, wait a second, you don't think that these detainees should be, I don't know, tried in a jury with their peers? They go, well, that's for Americans. And my response was always, no, it says, we we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal and
Yeah.
endowed.
Now, I think the founders didn't mean all people, but we should extend it to all people, because the founders had a very warped view, just based on the time period they lived in, of who those people were. Uh, they had a very small view of who were actually able to participate in the process, but they still wrote all, so we should hold true to
Right.
all.
So,
Whether that was the founders' intent or not, we should hold true to all.
so
It, yeah,
where are we going with that?
I don't know. You brought it up.
Me either. Crap.
Um, Daniel, you lost the plot.
Totally lost the plot. Brought to you by Canasense.
Uh,
I'm sampling our high FICO oil tonight, so it's got me in a certain kind of way.
Interesting. I can sort of wrap this all up with you're all hypocrites.
Yeah.
Eh, You're
Yeah.
all hypocrites. Every single one of you are hypocrites.
At this point, yeah, yeah. And me and the very few Liberty people that I still communicate with who are Liberty to the core, we
Yeah.
still keep in touch across the webs. But we're chuckling.
Yeah,
And
I don't agree with all of your stuff, but I hope we can agree at least we're honest actors, and I can respect that.
yeah, and I bet you now you're probably after all this horse shit, you're probably leaning a little bit closer my way, ain't you, buddy?
A
Come
little.
on. Thank you. That's all I wanted to hear.
A
That's
little.
progress.
So that'll wrap up whatever this is.
Well, I don't know what this was. I know we were we were supposed to do the last Superist show for 2020, but we never got around to it because things are always crazy with us anyway. So schedules and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
the br- the bridge of the Enterprise got a couple of torpedoes. That was kind of fun. So we're kind of rebuilding from that, but whatever. But I don't know what this is going to be. This might be just a mini burst. We got to talk about this circus in DC Superist show episode 2020. I don't know because it. I had to say something about it, and I knew you were chomping at the bit to say something about it, and it's just like
Yeah, I needed this.
it's like
I,
what
I
is?
needed this.
I mean, and we can, and maybe whenever we record again, hopefully really really soon, we could talk about the other half of the insanity, which is you know the whole thing with the 180 days for the government to turn over everything they know about aliens and UFOs, which is very, I mean, that's not a conspiracy theory. It's like all over the news, everywhere. It's like, all right, it was in the bill, it passed, the $600, not a subsidy check. We're going to stuff in. Oh, by the way, all of you alphabet agencies have to give us disclosure now. And I was kicking around. I was like, why not, man? 2020 threw everything at us. Why don't they just go ahead and do it? Aliens, and they are. It's like, man,
I
that was
think we're going to be disappointed.
you, well, who knows?
I Because I remember a couple years back when they were going to release all the JFK files, and they released like 10 of them.
Well, I don't know. I
I,
don't know.
I'm just saying, I don't think we're going to learn about aliens yet. I have moved in infinitely closer to your camp on aliens. I I've become much more of a believer that they're out there,
Shit, they're out
but
there.
yeah, out around us. But I don't think we're going to learn it anytime soon. We'll see.
Dude, you got this. Right before this too. This Israeli high military
Yeah,
ranking
I know. I
Israeli
remember
official.
that.
Yeah, he comes out and he goes, "Aliens are real," and
Yeah,
there's a Star Trek Federation, and they've been in contact with their governments, and they just don't think most of you are ready. And like he's
and
legit,
they're
like
they're
he's,
not.
you know,
Most people are not ready.
well, me being me dabbling in certain things I dabble in, I can certainly understand why that's so,
So can
because
I.
it's yeah,
It's
uh,
freaky.
it's gonna freak people out. I mean, and
I mean, even as somebody, I am not afraid of the unknown, but yeah, I'm a little apprehensive.
I mean, what imagine, dude? I mean, this is why I'm a more of a Star Trek guy, is because of a lot of the science fiction that pictures the future. It's always like humanity is scum. We're like the trash of the universe, and it's always apocalyptic, or the aliens are coming to get us. And I just try not to look at life that
Yeah,
way,
if
you know.
if what everyone if what that military official said is true, then the apocalyptic future is not the reality because they've been in contact with us and they haven't destroyed us. So the optimistic future of Star Trek is much more likely.
I hope so. I hope so.
Maybe that's just my optimism. That's conceivable.
Yeah, man. I hope so. And I tend to think that it's so. I mean, I tend to think that ultimately good always does. win over evil in
Yes.
in the end. But oh, that's what I was going to say earlier about the guy with the horns. You know, I still might whenever we get off. You know, I was like, this is so funny. They're going beat for beat, you know, by a script. All of it to me is just theater. It's a play. It's mind entertainment, I suppose. It's a hypnotic dance that they have us caught up in. But I almost looked up in the book of the Revelation to see if there were any creatures or critters or dragons or anything with two horns, you know, in the symbolism, because there's a lot of that in the book of the Revelation, like trumpets, you know, and the beast with seven heads and seven horns and all that. I was like, I wonder if there's somewhere stuffed in the Bible code, you know, jackass with a buffalo hat in a sacred place somewhere in there, if I could dig it out. Going off on a rabbit trail, Dylan. Help.
Um, cheese.
Jeez.